So you're thinking about moving right here to the Woodlands, Texas, but you want to know how it feels to live here. Maybe you've seen some of our other videos where we tell you all of these facts about the Woodlands, but what I really wanted to do was a run and gun style video where you just follow me around and I really show you what it's like to live here, what it feels like. Obviously, we want to give you as much information as possible, but it's really hard on camera to show you what it feels like to live here. So the best thing you could do, obviously, is reach out to our team, plan a trip to come visit the area, but not everyone can do that. And so if you want a glimpse of what it feels like to live here in the Woodlands, let's get after it right now. So I'm actually a 5th generation resident of Montgomery County, and my family's been here since before the Woodlands even existed. It started back in 1974, and it has really turned into probably one of the nicest suburbs in the Houston area. And so I wanted to walk around Market Street first and start here because I feel like Market Street encapsulates everything that the Woodlands wants to be. This is where you're gonna have your higher end shopping. This is where you're gonna see your $300,000 vehicles. This is where you're gonna have your wine bars and your restaurants and your Gucci and your Louis Vuitton stores. And so, and this is just one of the big shopping areas here in the Woodlands. And so if you want that higher end, that more upscale, that nicer experience, and you're looking at all of the different Houston suburbs, the Woodlands is going to offer the most when it comes to that. Sugar Land and Katy, they're gonna have, and Cypress as well, they're gonna have some good options, but the Woodlands has the most. And so I actually really just wanted to start filming here because I like it. I feel good when I come up here on a beautiful day when it's 70 degrees and sunny out, which is not all the time here. But yeah, I just like hanging out here. We'll come up here on Saturdays and grab a coffee and let the kids run around in the little turfed green area. They'll have music up here sometimes at Tommy Bahama's. And so yeah, it's just a great place to come hang out with the family. They also have a bunch of food options up here. You got the grocery stores and all of that. And so this is gonna be one of a couple of these kind of destination shopping, hangout, dining experiences right here in the Woodlands. So as far as like the vibe goes here, the Woodlands is gonna feel different than any of the other Houston suburbs. Like I said, it obviously has the nicer, more upscale shopping, but people move here because it has those higher end amenities. You're gonna look around and you're gonna get a little bit of a bougie feel here because they just have stuff that other suburbs don't have when it comes to the restaurants and the cars and all of that stuff. But the Woodlands isn't just totally flashy. It really is a great community for families. You've probably heard about the great schools that they got here, but it's just probably one of the more family-oriented communities here. Now, is it on kind of the higher end of living? Sure, it's you know, a very cheap house here in the Woodlands is still close to $400,000, and we see homes up to 13+ million here. And so it is gonna be one of the more upscale suburbs, but it still is super community-oriented. I wouldn't say it's like snobby or anything like that. And then the other thing that I love about the Woodlands that's different than maybe some of the places you live or some of the other nicer areas that you visited is even though it's upscale and it's got all this really cool shopping, they didn't just bulldoze all of the trees. It's called the Woodlands. So you have that nature component too, which I think gives it a unique experience like nowhere else. So if this is your first time to our channel and you want to know everything there is to know about living right here in the Woodlands, Texas, subscribe, tap that bell for notifications, and we'll keep you up to date on everything going on right here in Houston. My name is Kyler Ferris. I'm the broker owner of Ferris Realty, and we get calls, texts, emails every single day from people just like you looking to move here to the Woodlands. So if that is you, don't be shy. Give us a call, shoot us a text, send us a quick email. We would love to help you make a smooth move right here to Houston, Texas. So this is what it's like driving through the Woodlands. As you'll notice, we're right next to Market Street, but there are still walls of trees. And so no matter where you're at in the Woodlands, it's gonna feel different than anywhere else because they were really intentional about leaving trees. And so they created these natural barriers where you're still gonna have not just as much, but more shopping and amenities as really any of the other suburbs. But the thing that a lot of people get confused about when they're here is directions, because you can't see the shopping centers. And so if you're not from here, you don't know that right behind that 30-foot wall of trees is Whole Foods or Trader Joe's or whatever your favorite grocery store is. And so ultimately it gives it a really cohesive look. And one thing that a lot of people don't know about the Woodlands is, you know, when you are driving on these major thoroughfares, there's never homes on these thoroughfares. There's only homes on the side streets. And so no matter what street you're on in the Woodlands, it's gonna feel the same actually. And so as you're looking at maybe exploring different villages to live in here, it's important to know that, because a lot of clients ask us, you know, well, which village, you know, feels the best, this or that. I'm like, honestly, look, like they all look the same. Now, once you get onto certain streets, obviously, you know, if you're in a section with $1 million homes versus a section with, you know, $500,000 homes, they're just going to be a look and feel, but they're still going to get the same trees. And then you're still going to get that same nature component. So I just wanted to share that with you and kind of show you as we drive around to our next spot what that actually looks like. So now we're up here at Hughes Landing, which is gonna be one of your other destination shopping, food hangouts. I would say Hughes Landing, they call this Restaurant Row. So as you're gonna see over here, you've got True Luxe and Fogo de Chao and Del Frisco's, and it just keeps going. And so we're here during the daytime. They've got a froyo place that we're gonna go in and check out. They're gonna have your Pilates and your Pure Bar. But this is just like a great place, and it gets really crowded in the evening times. You're gonna have your valet, you're gonna have all your nice cars out here as well, and then you're gonna get to come out and enjoy really nice like dining experiences. There's a bunch of old women in there just buying a bunch of froyo. It made my heart happy. So anyways, all right, now we're up here. And the other cool thing about Hughes Landing is it's actually on the water. And so here in a second, I'll show you, they've got a fishing dock, and a lot of the big businesses here in the Woodlands are gonna have offices on Lake Woodlands. And they actually are still building a couple of the big office buildings up over here. And so there are some people that actually live up here at Hughes Landing as well. You're gonna have a apartment complex right behind me called One Lakes Edge, and then they needed more, so they built Two Lakes Edge. And these are gonna be your upscale apartments. So if you do come to the Woodlands and you're not sure if you wanna buy yet and you're trying to rent, it's a really good option if you want to live that Woodlands lifestyle. A lot of people that downsize once their kids move out, move up here just to be in the nightlife and enjoy all their, I guess, hard-earned money they worked for their whole lives. So anyways, my favorite restaurant is True Luxe. So if any clients have a great experience, feel free to give me True Luxe gift cards. But yeah, here's the lake. As you can see, it's really pretty. Lake Woodlands it's boatable, but you can't use motorboats on it. So you can use an electric boats. Most people don't use this as a boating lake unless they actually live on the lake, which is obviously going to cost some money, but it's, you know, it's worth it if you have the money, because it's awesome and you can just boat up to dinner. But you're going to have rowing out here on the lakes, and once again, on a beautiful day like this, you got the trail systems here in the Woodlands. So it really incorporates, as you can see, we just went from like really nice upscale food, dining, shopping to nature. You got the trees, you got the water, you got the hike and bike trails. So it really is a very active community. And yeah, so you'll see the people rowing over here. We'll go check out North Shore Park here in a little bit, show you where they launch for that. You got the Ironman here in the Woodlands. So it very much is an active community. So I don't want to paint the wrong picture that it's just all upscale. It's nature, it's family oriented, it's got a little bit of everything. Another thing, if you work remote, which like everybody these days does or has that option, there are WeWorks everywhere. There's one right up here on the lake, right across. You can rent out that space or become a member. And there's other, you know, non-WeWork co-working spaces too. And so I would say the Woodlands is the closest thing to having its own like downtown feel. I mean, obviously it doesn't have the same height of skyscrapers as Houston, but for a suburb, it's gonna have a more urban feel in certain areas. And then once you get into your neighborhood, it's like totally nature. But another cool thing up here, they got this turf event space. It looks like a miniature pavilion. Obviously, they've got the real pavilion, which we'll show you, but they actually, I've seen them have like little mini concerts out here, nothing huge, but just live music on the weekends so that, you know, after you're done eating at the restaurant, you come down here and hang out. You don't have to cut the date night short. So I thought this was a cool thing to show y'all. All right, before we leave Hughes Landing, that was Restaurant Row. There's still shopping here too. So you're gonna have a little bit of everything. You got hair salons. Once again, I mean, obviously the commercial rent here is expensive, so it's gonna be more upscale places. You've got the apartments here that I mentioned, and then you're gonna have your Whole Foods. So out of the hundreds of clients that have reached out to us through YouTube, many of them say, I have to be within 10 minutes or I have to be within 15 minutes of a Whole Food. If that's the case, you got it right here up at Hughes Landing. It's right in the middle, kind of at the front of the Woodlands. And so I would say the furthest away you could live in the Woodlands is gonna be maybe like 17 minutes from a Whole Foods. So pretty good. And then they've got other grocery stores as well. They actually have one, at least one in all of the 9 villages. And then this is obviously kind of up here at the entertainment area in the Woodlands. Thing that the Woodlands has that none of the other suburbs really have is going to be the Cynthia Woods Mitchell Pavilion, and there's only a couple big music venues around the Houston area, and I would say the Pavilion is up there, probably tied for #1 when it comes to big name artists. So I don't have any great examples because I don't go to a ton of concerts, but I have been to a few concerts up here, and it's really fun. We actually came up here for a concert. We came up with a bunch of other couples. We ate dinner, had some wine over at Market Street, and then we just walked across and went to the concert. And then the great part was when it was finished, we got to see a big artist and we got to, you know, hop in our cars and have a 10-minute ride home, which is not the case. You know, a lot of people that live in the Houston area, they actually drive to the Woodlands for concerts. So it actually is even more of a destination within the suburb, which is pretty cool. Okay, now we're pulling up to another one of my favorite areas. They're all my favorite, apparently, as you'll notice, but they're all nice. This is gonna be the Waterway. This is Waterway Avenue. I always call it Baker Street. That's actually just one of the bars here. I actually used to think it was called Baker Street, but it's not. Anyways, you've got a lot of bars and restaurants. This is gonna be your hub for nightlife. You know, Hughes Landing has Restaurant Row. It's gonna have all of the, you know, not all of, it's gonna have a lot of upscale restaurants. But the Waterway is where your bars are gonna be. They even have a club up on this 3rd floor over here. They've got your Westin Waterway, your Marriott Waterway. It's a really good hotel destination as well. And then what's really cool, if you see right here, this bridge that we're crossing, we are on the bridge over the water, but this is also the finish line for the Ironman here in the Woodlands. And so if you look right down here, you're gonna be able to see that you've got condos on the water. We actually just passed a coffee shop that I think we should go pop in, but you're gonna have, they got these little ducks down there that you can rent. This isn't for kayaking or canoeing. I don't think you're supposed to do that in the Waterway. They used to have a water taxi too that would take you around the Woodlands. But as you see back over here, you're gonna have a ton of really big buildings on the water. You've got the towers here in the Woodlands, so you're gonna get to see that, you know, it has a little bit of a downtown feel to it. All right, so we're out of the truck. We're still at the Waterway. A couple things to point out. You're gonna have one of the movie theaters in the Woodlands right here. This is the one I grew up going to. But now I think they have like 6 movie theaters. So tons of movie theater options here. Big on entertainment in the Woodlands. You're gonna have Tris. If you had to go out on a date night here in the Woodlands, I say had to. If you get to go out on a date night here in the Woodlands, or you're just here for one night and you want a spot that's original to the Woodlands, I highly recommend Tris. It's one of your better options. The chef over there is really amazing. And then another cool thing about the Waterway too, it's mixed development. So if you look up, you've got maybe an 8-10 story building right here. You got a couple more behind me. And so you're gonna get to see that it's actually a great place to be able to work in more of an urban environment, still being out in the suburbs. And then as I mentioned, you've got all the bars along here. This one's Baker Street. It's kind of one of the originals. Some of these others have changed over time, but they all kind of have their different spin on them. And so, yeah, it gets busy here on the weekends. You don't have to go down to Houston. So if you want to live in a really nice upscale suburb and live the suburban life, but you still want to have date night and like nice places to go out, the Woodlands is definitely gonna be at the top of the list for that. Whenever you're walking around still at the Waterway, you can see you got the water right behind me over here. And then even more restaurants. We're kind of on the back side of the restaurants that are on Waterway Avenue. But one of the other cool things, I mean, just look how pretty this is. They've done such a good job of curating a space to come and hang out. And you've got pop jet fountains here. And I just find it funny that they put all the pop jet fountains, which are great for the kids. If you don't know what they are, it's splash pads. The kids run through them and play. But they always put them in areas in the Woodlands where you don't want your kid to go jump in the water. You know, you're at a restaurant and your kid's begging to go get soaking wet. But anyways, if you plan for it, then it's great. You can come up here, hang out, you know, have a picnic, whatever you want to do, and let your kids play around. So if you think we had run out of perfectly manicured turf areas for kids to play amongst high-end shopping, you're wrong. We're actually up here at the Woodlands Mall, and the Woodlands Mall is gonna have this little bit of outdoor shopping area, but it's been around for longer than a lot of these areas. And so this is going to be it's a 1.35 million square foot indoor mall. Don't know what that translates to in terms of stores, but there are a ton. It's 2-story, and they always do a good job of facelifting the mall. So even though it's been here for a while, as we walk inside, you'll notice that it still looks brand new. And it almost feels like we continue to get more and more higher end shops here. And so a lot of malls around the Houston area, you'll notice the second you walk in them that because of online shopping and Amazon, that like the quality of the stores is diminished in them, and it's like kind of a grungy place to go. Not the case here. The Woodlands Mall is just as nice or nicer than it's ever been. So now we're inside the mall, and as I mentioned, it's 2 stories. So right up here, you're gonna have the food court. Up those escalators, you're also gonna have the carousel, which is the same one that was there whenever I was a little kid, and my daughter loves it. And it's very new in here. It's nice, it's open, and you're gonna have all your cool stores. As you can see, you've got the Apple store right over here, and this is also gonna be your destination for the big box retail stores. If you want Macy's, Nordstrom's, Dillard's, all of those are gonna be up here. You're not gonna find that type of shopping in the 9 villages. In most of the villages, you're gonna just have your grocery stores and then your nail salons, hair salons, stuff like that. The mall is really that destination shopping area for those bigger items or for Christmas shopping. So if that wasn't enough shopping for you, I just saw an article this week, they have approved a $100 million mall expansion that's going to include another outdoor shopping area that'll be brand new, that's going to have 2 hotels as well. So I didn't think they could add more to this. It's already a lot, but they plan to. Okay, another thing to point out when it comes to the trails in the Woodlands, you can see right here, this is a trailhead, and these trailheads are going to shoot off into the woods, but they run alongside all of the major roads here in the Woodlands. And so no matter where you're at in the Woodlands, if you're on one of the major roads that like cut into the Woodlands, like the major arteries, you're gonna have access to the trails. And so you're not gonna have sidewalks running through your front yard in your actual neighborhood. But as you can see right here, as we turn into this neighborhood, you'll see the trails kind of meander their way through the Woodlands. And so you can just walk to the end of one of your streets, and then as soon as you're at the end of your street without crossing any major roads, you're right there on the trail system. Okay, so now we're just driving through a neighborhood. I picked Hollymead. It's definitely on the larger side of homes in the Woodlands. But as you can see, you've got space here if you want it. You're tucked away, and the trees are extremely thick. These are gonna be on the golf course, and so these are gonna be well over the $2 million mark. Not all homes in the Woodlands are this expensive, but if you want the room and the space, then you're gonna have that as an option here. Okay, one other funny thing that I wanted to show you is this gas station. It feels like there aren't a ton of gas stations in the Woodlands, is what it feels like. They're actually here, they're just completely hidden. And so you can see this one's tucked in. If you look right over here, you're actually right off of a major road, but this is how thick the nature barriers are here in the Woodlands. You cannot see through it. Okay, one other thing that I think it's important to know, the goal is for you to understand what it's like to live here, how it feels. Part of that is traffic. So as we've driven around today, we've experienced no traffic, but it's 4 o'clock right now, and you can see right here, it's starting to get crowded. And so pretty much from the time that school gets out until people get home from their commutes back from Houston, which typically ranges from about 3:30 to 6:30 at night, you're gonna get traffic. And so all of these people coming into the Woodlands this way are either coming back, picking their kids up from school or extracurriculars, or they're, you know, these people would be leaving work early essentially. But anyways, I just wanted to show you, this is kind of what the traffic looks and feels like. It starts to pick up around 4 p.m., 3:30 p.m., and then kind of wraps up around 6:30, 7 p.m. So. So we've talked a lot about the higher end shopping that the Woodlands has to offer, but one thing I want to really harp on is that nature component. It really is so family oriented. We're up here at North Shore Park, and North Shore Park is going to be one of the larger public parks here in the Woodlands. You're going to have smaller little pocket parks located maybe right down the street from your actual house, but this is more of a destination park. You can see we're on the lake. This is where I was telling you people will come up and row. You've got the rowing center right behind me. It's got the boat launch. And then when we were over at Hughes Landing at Restaurant Row, that's actually those buildings right over there. So you're going to have some corporate offices as well as the apartments and then all of those restaurants. But if you see here, you actually have a playground, and you've got multiple play sets for kids of all different ages, all different sizes. And so it's really going to offer a little bit for everyone. They're going to have the pavilion here as well, which is a great place to come out, hang out, have a birthday party for the kids completely free. So this is North Shore Park. All right, we are finishing today's video. We're back up here at Market Street. I'm actually gonna meet my wife. We're gonna grab some dinner, but I hope this video helps give the feel of the Woodlands. If you haven't already, go check out our vlog on the Woodlands or the 9 Villages Explained. They're gonna be that deep dive video where we give you a ton of information, all the stats on the Woodlands. This one is really to give you more of the driving tour and that look and feel. So I hope we did that for you. But once again, if you are looking to move to the area and you've got questions, like we always say, don't be shy. Give us a call, shoot us a text, send us a quick email, because we would love to help you make a smooth move right here to the Woodlands, Texas. We'll see you guys in the next video.